Welcome everyone to this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Update here on the, not WYBC, that was the old radio station I used to play for. This is the Sentinel coming at you live, not so much, on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Thank you for listening. Let's go right to our Mayors and Supervisors report for this week. Let's see what's cooking in the village of Scottsville, starting with Eileen. What's going on there?
Okay, there are a few things going on. Things are staying the same in terms of COVID. Our offices are still doing business, but by appointment only. We have a board meeting this week on July 14th, which is Tuesday, and it will be done remotely. And then on Thursday, we're doing a joint meeting with the town. So I'm going to go back and explain what we're doing. One of the things that Scottsville and Wheatland have been talking about in the past few months is the formation of a joint fire district. So we're having a joint meeting on the 16th to consider that, I should find my exact wording of it, but it's to consider if it's in the best interest of the municipalities to have a public hearing to consider the proposal of establishing a joint Wheatland-Scottsville fire district. I think I got that all out. So that will be on Thursday after the town board meeting. And all this is being done in a very compact way. We had sent out a request for special legislation, which would have allowed the fire department to assume the debt that we carry for the fire department. Because of COVID and everything in Albany is slowed down. So that legislation wasn't able to get through on time. So we're pursuing a different route. And that will be establishing the fire district where we would lease everything to them in payment. They will pay us the amount of the debt as their rent. So we're looking to do that. We're having it's open to the public. It's a public meeting on the 16th. And then if it goes through there, we will have a public hearing on July, is it the 27th, Monday, July 27th. So that's the big thing that's going on in the village and town right at the moment. I know the town has started their summer recreation camp this week, but I don't have any update on how that went. Right now, I'll ask everybody else that if you're in Monroe County, did you get a message from the legislature of Monroe County regarding the CARES Act and contacting people there in terms of getting money that revenues that we've lost because of COVID. So I have my treasurer looking into that and contacting the people there. The other thing is with our Canawagas Park, I'm sure anyone in the area might be aware of George Bridge in Canawagas Park on Owaka Creek. And somehow it got named one of the best swimming holes in New York State. So that information has gotten us an influx of people from out of the area. Over the July 4th weekend, we had probably over 100 people in the park. There was no social distancing, no masks. So I'm having a meeting with all those concerned with that area on Monday to see how we can handle that. So other than that, we're just doing business as usual. Then board meeting on Tuesday, July 14th, starts at 6:30 p.m. with the fire commissioners meeting, with the village board meeting commencing right afterwards, and then a joint meeting of the town and village boards on Thursday at 7:30. And that's about it for now.
Thank you very much, Eileen. Todd, how about West Bloomfield? What's going on there?
Thank you. There is not an awful lot going on here with the extension of the executive order. We held our town board meeting this week, virtual. At a county level, we're starting to do more blended meetings. So the county board of supervisors met last night with about 10 people in one of the main meeting rooms, and a bunch of award recipients and other supervisors on WebEx. And that seems to work pretty well, makes it easier to maintain the social distancing at the meetings. We are looking forward to the malls starting to be reopened so that there's the potential for some of the sales tax revenue to come back. We continue to be open by appointment. Just trying to have people schedule their visits to the town hall just to make sure that it's easier for us to do the disinfecting and cleaning after they leave. Highway department's working on relatively normal oil and stoning process, so trying to keep the normal function of the town going as best we can with the limited resources, and just continuing to work on anything that we can in reduction of budget and town expenses, since we know there will be a definite impact throughout the rest of this calendar year. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Todd. Very quick. Mike, Town of Lima, and maybe tell us a little bit more about Livingston County. I don't know if you have an update on that COVID breakout that was reported yesterday.
Right. The COVID outbreak from the Springwater Legion Post meeting from last week.
Oh.
We went from 0 to 11.
God.
So
Wow.
that's what it is. Everybody's quarantined, and that's how you have to deal with that. We're dealing with some other things. It's one of the, at the county level, one of the cuts that's coming is the Dwyer program. It looks like that's going to be cut statewide. The Dwyer program is a anti-suicide for veterans program. Many of the counties around here receive those funds. Livingston County does not. Consequently, per capita, Livingston County has the highest rate of veteran suicide in the area. Livingston County is looking at doing some self-funding on this and doing their own shot at the program this year. It appears there will probably be some private sponsorship of this. And so if anyone in the listening audience is interested in participating, Jason Skinner at the Livingston County Veterans Services Agency is the contact, and he would welcome any input. At the town level, sadly, we were the last ones in the area, but we are officially notifying everyone that we have canceled the Crossroads Blues Festival for this year.
Yeah.
There was no way to manage the thousands of people that we got last year in a safe way for this year. However, charitable giving is down in pretty much every sector. So we will be holding ticketed fundraiser concerts with the proceeds going to Mercy Flight Central and Teresa House, the hospice in Geneseo, and some money for next year's festival. Tickets for those concerts can be had by calling either Fanatics or Johnny B's Custom Barbecue, depending on which stage the events are being held on. We will also be having what is possibly the first ever town-wide parade. We're looking at doing that on August 2nd, open to Lima businesses and residents and groups. It is a driving parade, not a walking parade, because it's going to be quite long. The proposed route right now, which is being firmed up, will start in South Lima, work its way all the way up to the opposite corner of the township, and then back down through the village. Normally parades are just a few blocks here in the village, so this would be something that would be a little bit more inclusive for everybody.
Sounds fun.
So that's fairly much where we are.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Jerry, Town of Rush.
Well, I wish we were going to have a parade of some sorts, but we're not. And I had fully expected our library and town hall to be open next week, but we ran into a glitch. The sneeze shield installer cut the glass too short for the library desk, and we're waiting to see what their fix will be. So maybe our town hall will open on Monday for walk-in service. It's been only for appointment service, but maybe on Monday we can open for walk-in service. I will have to wait and see what the sneeze shield installer says. We're starting our budget season, I think, as most municipalities are. Our restaurants are not open yet to sit eating, dining, but they are open for takeout. We expect that they are going to open soon. We haven't had any incidents. I think a lot of our residents watch programs like David Muir and Good Morning America and are very concerned about what happens if the wave comes back in this direction. Oh my gosh, that would be terrible. But right now, we don't have a high incident of people being sickened by the COVID. We have a couple, but nothing to become concerned about, and we hope it stays that way.
I agree. I hope so too. That's all, Jerry?
That's it.
All right, excellent. You guys are really cooking. Rick, Village of Honeoye Falls.
Good afternoon. It's nice to see everyone. Appreciate the opportunity. We're doing okay in the village. Office continues to be open with full staff by appointment only. We did have our second outdoor concert at Harry Allen Park this past Tuesday. It was very well attended. And I again report that we're very happy with the fact that people are social distancing. They are wearing masks to the park, and they are keeping away from each other. So far, we do not see a reason to not continue that. We will be holding our next two board meetings at the community center, which I mentioned last week. And again, my thanks to our partners at the town for allowing us to use that. It worked out very well for our zoning board meeting this past week. And we are having this meeting held as an open meeting. We are not doing it virtually. We talked with a couple of other people. It's already been advertised as such, and we're going to keep it as an open meeting. We feel that with the attendees that we normally have, we should be able to handle the number of people well. So we're going to go that direction. And as Eileen had mentioned earlier, the county did receive their CARES funding, and the legislators did vote unanimously to make sure that any towns or villages who have had to spend money in regards to COVID-19 will be able to apply for some of those funds to offset that. So I think we've all received that notice. I will be very upfront with you though. We don't have a whole lot of expenses. We've had to buy some PPE, some added PPE for our ambulance and for our fire department, but we have not had any large expenses. So as Jerry had mentioned in a couple of his previous updates, we're still waiting to see where that sales tax revenue falls, and that's going to be very key for us. But besides that, we've not had a lot of expenses. So knock on wood, we're going to be in decent shape, but we'll see where that ends up.
All right, thanks a lot, Rick. And let's go. We got John Moffett, Town of Mendon. How are we doing in Mendon?
Good, Chris. A couple of updates as we did open up Town Hall to the public this past Monday on July 6th, so you no longer need an appointment. We do have the social distancing lines on the floor, and so far everyone has been very cooperative. We do have signs on the door saying requiring a mask, and we do have masks available as you enter the building, as well as hand sanitizer. So this is normally kind of a quieter time anyway. So this was a good chance to get the doors open and work out any bugs that may be an issue. As I think Jerry mentioned, we're starting to look at our 2021 budget. Obviously, the whole sales tax issue is a big one for all towns and villages. With the towns that have a village, villages receive their own sales tax. So all of our sales tax goes into our B or DB fund, which is town outside the village. Legally, that's where the money has to go, the revenue. So we are obviously concerned about that as well. So we'll continue to track that. I would think by, first part of August, we should have that second quarter sales tax number and have a better idea going forward. As Rick mentioned, we are using the community center on West Main Street in Honeoye Falls for our meetings, as well as the village, because it's a bigger area. We can accommodate more people and still maintain social distancing and not have to do virtual meetings. So we've been doing zoning, planning, town board meetings. We have a town board meeting on Monday, the 13th. That'll be at that location, and a planning board meeting the Wednesday after that. So on the 15th. So we're moving along on that. And we also opened bids for roof replacement projects that we're hoping to accept on Monday night. We'll be replacing 2 roofs at our highway department on Summel Road and the roof at that same community center. We're probably going to replace them with metal roofs, given the fact that they can last a long time, about 50 years. A little more upfront money, but we've been squirreling away money for this project for the last few years. So we should, I imagine the board will approve that, and hopefully we'll have that work done later in 2020. On a positive note, youth baseball, Honeoye Falls, HFL Mendon Youth Baseball opens up tomorrow on Saturday. So there will be a full slate of games at the fields in Mendon. And, everyone, I'm sure a lot of families are looking forward to getting back to some type of normalcy as far as recreation availability for their children.
All right, John, make sure someone takes pictures and send it to us. We like to see kids playing baseball. Maybe do a little write-up or something on who was there and what happened. I will just add something that we were involved with Thursday night. The HFL graduation ceremony took place on the football field. We broadcast it live. It was enthusiastically received by the audience. And I mentioned that to all of you. Perhaps maybe there's ways you can do some events through the school, because the school has the internet capability, your own schools, I mean, whether it's Wheatland or Bloomfield. But Mike, you mentioned doing things, fundraising. If there was a way to do a concert on the football field that was broadcast live, if somebody could figure out a way to use that as a fundraiser, see if the school's up for it. We now know that we can do, well, we always knew we can do it because it's just like broadcasting football games. But it is a way to broaden it out to other people. So I just offer that as an idea. I know that there's lots of other things that you can do, but I wanted you to make aware of it. Does anybody else have anything else they need to add before we break for this week?
Yeah, Chris, I'm sorry. I did have one other thing that came to mind. The Village of Honeoye Falls had put out to bid for a storm sewer replacement project on Ontario Street. And we did open those bids, again, a month or so ago. And quite honestly, the bids came in almost double what we anticipated.
Mm.
It was very, very disheartening, to say the least, and we are formally rejecting the bids, and we will rebid the project. So that's a very important project on Ontario Street, especially for some of the residents in that location. And we are committed to getting this project done, but it's going to be delayed slightly because of that. So we are putting that out to rebid, and hopefully sometime this month. So just wanted to pass that along as well.
All right, thanks a lot, Rick. And thank you all, everyone out there in TV land, for listening to us on whatever platform you're listening to. We remind you that every Sunday at 1 o'clock, we do this broadcast mayor and supervisors update, except for next Sunday. Next Sunday is our midsummer vacation. We'll be taking that week off, and some people will be celebrating various things. So thanks, everyone, for coming this week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy birthday.